Ever since I first stepped foot on Duke's campus, I have struggled with this question of who I am. This isn't necessarily a new struggle, given my background. My parents are Chinese immigrants. I spent my childhood in a quiet Massachusetts suburb, and then I moved to Hong Kong when I was 13, where I completed middle and high school. Finally, I returned to the United States to pursue a college education, right here at Duke. While these journeys across borders and oceans have infused my life with excitement and adversity, I'm often frustrated by the fact that I don't really belong anywhere. I've always felt that the numerous labels that I've had, Chinese American, expat, Asian, Hong Konger, woman, Duke student, etc., never quite captured the full extent of who I am. Part of this dissatisfaction has to do with my own indecisiveness. For example, I love to sing and dance, and in my senior year of high school, I actually applied to theater school in New York City, and I had to choose between going to Duke and attending this theater school. And to this day, that dream of making it big in the movies still nags at me. In high school, I was also passionate about contemporary Chinese history, and I took Mandarin. When I got to college and chose to be an ICS major, I yet again wanted something more. I selected the Middle East as my regional concentration, and I took a diverse set of classes, everything from Arabic to Islamic media to contemporary politics to theories of gender and sexuality. Fittingly enough, I traveled to the Middle East, but when I was there, I ended up being drawn to a community of migrant domestic workers from South and Southeast Asia, a community that did not belong to the conventional and normative understandings of the Middle East. And out of this tension grew my senior honors thesis. As an ICS major, I was allowed to be complex, unfinished, contradictory, and emotional. I was allowed to study different cultures and languages and travel to countries all around the world in search of different stories and histories, something I would have never gotten to do with any other major. But sometimes I can't help thinking that my itch for travel and diverse experiences circles back to this struggle of figuring out who I really am. All the eclectic classes I've taken, the hunger for something new, untold, unheard, is just part of some elaborate, relentless search for belonging and validation. A couple days ago, I had dinner with my thesis advisor, Professor Frances Hasso. One of the most meaningful things that she told me that evening was that one of the strengths of my thesis was that you could hear my voice. And this really stuck with me, that I had a voice, meaning that my stories and my perspectives were wholly mine, and that truly only I could tell them. And this was important to me because I think as a young person, particularly a young woman of color who has moved around a lot, I've constantly had to push back on those people and those institutions that just really aren't that interested in what I have to say. But my professors in ICS were interested, as they are interested in everybody's stories. Stories that are cultivated at the margins, that have been historically silenced, that exist on the outside. Often these are stories of violence in all its forms, but they are also stories of survival, of love, and of self-discovery. What Professor Hasso's comment reminded me was that I didn't need to sacrifice the emotional and the personal within my academic journey. I did not have to know all the right answers. I did not always have to be confident in everything I said. I could make mistakes, and I could be wrong, and yet I could still be valued. I still have a voice, no matter how imperfect it is. As I stand before you today, I still feel as confused, if not more confused, than I did on my first day at Duke. But the true lesson I've learned here at ICS is how to feel comfortable and empowered by those confusions and those contradictions, and to honor the fact that there has never been and never will be just one version of me out there in the world. Thank you.